I'm told the boss.
Lucas Burrington, owner of Burrington Real Estate.
Manika, his better half.
Hey, the best half. The best of the best halves right
Yes.
here. Man, it's been a while.
It is, it's season 5
Season
kickoff?
5. I think this is the official kickoff. We might have had a bonus episode or a non-official.
Yeah, we had a bonus episode.
They might have to pay for that one. That's for the true fans that know us well enough to not judge us.
Yeah.
Or our company.
Yeah, it was one of those that it was end of the year celebration. Yeah. And not all celebrations should be documented.
Exactly. Agree.
And that might have been one of them.
Yep.
This year is, and it's going to lead us to what we're drinking today. So, as you guys have seen the other episodes, we try to switch it up with what we're drinking. We have a new whiskey that we haven't had. It's a new one that just came out. It's Redemption Bourbon. Also made in Kentucky, kind of on that whiskey tour that we're looking at, all right on their own. And then it's distilled up in Indiana. So this is a single batch. So with the batches itself, those are all obviously the best pure brands. Mm-hmm. This one. Let's kind of have a drink together here.
Yeah,
taste it up. We got ourselves poured.
Yep. Cheers.
We couldn't get the ice to break, so it's melting.
Yeah, you want a little whiskey with your ice?
Yeah, that's good. That's smooth.
That is good. I like this. Mm-hmm. It has redeemed all bourbons, hence the name Redemption.
Yep, smooth, balanced, slightly spicy, and this is you do taste that spice at the end.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like a hot spice; it's just a flavored.
There's some that has like a bullshit burn that it's like, come on, bro.
No, that's a smooth burn.
This is good. Yeah, I like it.
No, I can get down with that.
Lucas, I've been so the website. By the time this is out, it'll be launched. I've been working on the website and I've been making clips from the old episodes. And when I tell you, we were so professional.
Yeah.
It was very straightforward, very informational. And the evolution of this podcast is just so great and enjoyable. But even then it was like, okay, this is good information for anybody researching, like, okay, what's it mean to be a property owner? Or what's it mean to be in property management? So we were very like facts, and now it's more relaxed. Now it's just us, us and Manika kicking it.
Well, and we're still going to be on the education piece. The education piece that it's just a different type of way of educating. It was more straight at you the first couple episodes, and that's how it should be. Yeah. So if you're watching this, go back to season 1, 2, and 3. It really educates you all through the investor side of becoming an investor, how to become a real estate agent, what to look for in investment properties, the eviction process, so on and so forth. It was very informational. Now in these later seasons, we're still talking about some of the stuff. Now we're putting into the real life perspective, and we're bringing on some other professionals. So you're hearing it more, not just from myself, but from other people of like interest in the field. That might be dealing with insurance agents and so on and so forth. Like next week, I think we're bringing on someone with roofing and siding that runs the region of Iowa and deals with insurance companies. And if it ain't next week, it'll be coming up here in the next couple weeks. And we're going to bring back Tequila Bob. And Tequila Bob. He's a real estate mogul in his own way. He won't admit it, but he is. He's also seen the behind the screens. He's been on some of the Flip Your Houses and some of the HGTV stuff that they have out there where he was a live fake person trying to buy it and got to reveal some of the frauds on some of the stuff. So, there's a lot of stuff that is coming your guys' way in season 5 that I'm very excited about. We're still going to be chilled, still laid back. Our viewers have said they absolutely love how we progressed and how last season was a hoot. 4 was hot. 3 was... you could see us gradually get to the area where we're out of the political zone.
We were flirting with the idea of, what, fuck it.
Yep. And, that's been my career. So my career was based off not being the normal real estate agent out there. My career and my niche was, I'm not going to, in a 3-piece suit, you ain't going to find me in that unless I'm receiving an award or something like that, And a great real estate agent and any real estate agent that ever wants to make it in its field has to, and I tell all of our new agents this, you have to find your niche. Yep. If If you don't have a niche, some top producers in this market all have a niche. If you pulled up the top 5, you got ones that work with new constructions, you got ones that works with property managers, one that strictly works foreclosures and bank repos. Mm-hmm. You got another that is he's an investor himself, so he's growing his own portfolio. So if you haven't found a niche within the real estate market and you're a real estate agent watching this out here, wanting to be a real estate agent, you need to partner up with someone that's already in the business that has a niche and figure out how they found their niche. It doesn't mean you need to partner up with them for full-time through your real estate career. Just interview them, figure out what's going on, open the doors to each other, be friends with the other realtors out there, try to be.
Lucas, you're a man of many hats. What's your niche?
My niche, I come from the background of being a banker for 10 plus years. I ran from the commercial fields to the ag fields to, residentials, and then I ran banks, so I was a CEO, CFO to end my career in the banking world. So I started from the ground level up as a credit manager, and I build up through the bank. So I got to see everything about credit and everything about purchasing and loans of values and you name it. The 5 C's of banking and the 5 C's carries over to life. That's your character, your capacity, your credit, your collateral. And, oh, my God, this has been years since I've had to go through this. Credit, capacity, collateral, character.
I'm making clips now, so I'm going to need you to get this. Okay.
Yeah.
Character, capacity, collateral.
Character,
capacity, collateral.
We got 3.
Cash flow. And I said it already. I've already said it. What?
You didn't say clarity.
No, the clarity's not one of them. No. So capacity, collateral.
Mm-hmm.
Cash, character,
and
credit. No,
there
credit.
we go.
Yeah,
there
credit.
we go.
Yeah, so it's got a cash flow. That's where the cash comes into. So, but those are kind of the 5 C's that a lot of people, every banker kind of lives by. So my niche is I have a very strong field in the banking field, from working with farmers, investors to real estate agents. Then, obviously, when I started the property management side, I carried about 4 or 5 bankers over from the bank, or 4 or 5 investors from the banking world when I was their banker. And they said if they kept buying from me, the only way they're going to keep buying from me is if I manage their shit. And so I thought I was going to have 5 investors and 20 properties. And now here we are with 100 investors from 16 different states with 14 plus years of experience. And, we manage over 500 properties. So, it started with one folder coming out and saying, guess what? I'm leaving my 6-figure income to go sell real estate. And we just made the most, and we made the most starting in the single family area, helping with mortgages, and then taking those 5 investors and growing them into, 100 investors, and just watching everyone build their portfolios. So my niche is taking you from start to finish and to continue growing your portfolio. Where a lot of realtors, they're one and dones. They'll sell you a house. They'll work with strictly single family people. Me, I work with everyone across the board.
Yep.
So I'm a jack of all trades and probably a master of none. So,
man, and again, over these seasons, I realize how similar we are because, a lot of people don't have a problem with quitting a 9-to-5, and when it's me, it wasn't an issue with quitting a 9 to, like I'm just not a quitter,
right?
But leaving a 6-figure income to do the things that you're passionate about, that you're focused on, that you fully believe in, that's one of the scariest things you could ever do.
Ever.
Like it's not that hard to quit a bad job, but to quit a good job,
it's tough. Well, in everything that you and I do, and this goes into Manika's world as well, is you have to have that self-evidence of discipline. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be able to count on yourself, to depend on yourself, and to bid on yourself. You got to put yourself out there that says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to win."
Yep.
Don't know how, but I'm going to win.
Yep.
It's that quote where they always have the lion in the background.
It's almost like dad mode.
Yeah.
The we don't know how, but when we say we got it, we got it.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, I got it. I'll figure it out. We don't know yet, but I guarantee you,
right,
we figure it out.
Well, and you've seen the episodes. I hope you all seen the episodes of when we brought the kids on, and we had Camille and Kennedy on here, and then we've had, and if you talk to any of my players that I've coached or developed, it's always accountability, dependability, reliability.
Yep.
I mean, and that goes into getting into the real estate field is you have to be able to account on yourself, because no one else is going to, that deal's not walking through the door unless you can hold yourself accountable to go out there and grind and,
yep,
do the mailers and whatever it takes to get someone through your front door to go show them doors.
Yep.
And then the dependability, you have to be someone that you're the one they call, and then the reliability, you got to be there for people. Yeah. So, I mean,
and the struggle behind that is time. Because setting appropriate times for myself or my significant other isn't the same appropriate time for the client.
Right.
I've got clients that work better because they work second shift. So around 10 or 11, they're up, they're ready to go. Hey, what are you doing? And to a significant other, that might be an inappropriate time for somebody to be on your phone, like no matter who it is, so that sucks. But it's something you can kind of depend on us for, is to be dependable and reliable and reachable.
Well, and even if it's just a text that, hey, I'll call you back in 45 minutes. I mean,
for the next 45 minutes, you're explaining to her why you need to take this call.
Guess what? I told them 45 minutes.
You want to know what happens at that point?
You don't understand. I forgot to silence my phone, and now this is going to cause me next 45 minutes of excruciating pain. I told you 45 minutes because I had to work on another deal. Guess what? Now I got to work on Monica.
You need to stop. You're doing too much. You be here, and then you take it there. Bring it back.
He's like, I got to work on a deal. And then on the side, he's like, dealing with Monica's.
It's about right. Man, I got to get permission right now.
I got to deal with somebody. Oh, I love it. So before we get into redemption, because that actually, everything we're talking about is a good segue to what it means to have to redeem yourself at times. What is today's market look like compared to the previous seasons?
So, we track our seasons, track our episodes, because we talk about it every episode about what the market is, and we have not been wrong. Exactly what we said was going to happen, happened. You mean prior to election, to what happened during the holiday season. The election happened November 6th, obviously. The day after, we were writing deals left and right. And it really hasn't slowed down too much. There's probably the best December I've ever seen.
Ever?
Probably in all my years, it's probably been the best December I've seen.
In all how many years?
14, 15 years. It's probably one of the best Decembers.
Whoa! That's bold. Damn.
And I'm telling you, it is pure election driven. It's been too many people sitting for the last year and a half at high interest rates, sitting back to see what was going to happen, and they knew what was going on was not going to work, because you got people leaving 2.25%. Interest rates going to buy 7% interest rate houses. That's crazy. For you to even think about it, it's got to take something pretty compelling. Now everyone got to the point where they understood, okay, and we saw who won. We know what's probably going to happen. There'll be a rate drop that's going to be significant over the next 3 to 4 months. There will be. I had an investor call me today, and she's like, what do? I'm on a 5-year arm. My 5-year arm's up. Do I just extend it for 90 days, or... Ultimately, it's the banker's choice too that she's got to make with him. But I said, you tell that banker, you don't want to do anything that's going to prevent you from being able to refinance that house in the next 5 months. And she's like, okay, I'll tell him that. She goes, even if I got to pay a little higher rate right now just to hold out for the next 90 days until we start seeing some influxes on the rates. And everyone's kind of over it. They're the shock effect's over of what these high interest rates are, because they see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Explain the ARM. I'm sure we have before, but every time you bring up a term, I'm going to have you explain it, because I'm doing clips now.
Yep. So ARMs. So an ARM is adjustable variable rate. It's something. Let's give a prime example. In 2012, 2011, we were on our way out of a recession. Dodd-Frank Act came rolling out. They said, no more doing 5-year loans. So now what they do is 5-year ARMs. And so the 5-year ARM is your rate's fixed for the next 5 years or 10 years, however it is. There's a lot of banks in town that are doing 10-year ARMs right now. And so that rate is, today's current rate is 5.9%. And you do a 10-year ARM at 5.9%. That means your rate's stable for the next 10 years.
Yep.
Back in the day, 10 years ago, they were just doing 5-year ARM rates. Now here you are hitting that 5-year rate, but those rates were 3% then.
Yeah.
Now those ARMs. Now the rates they're now jumping from 3% to 5.9%. So their payments are doubling almost, and so on and so forth. So now, so in 2015, we told everyone arm because rates just kept going down there. Because in 2015, 2014, a good rate was like 6.5%.
So is it kind of a gamble? Because it's like if they're trending down, and you're saying arm, it's like, but what if they go lower? But it's like at some point they're going to go up. So you need to.
Yep, we're at the. I think we're at the peak right now. So I think they're at the highest we're going to see in a bit.
Okay.
Reason I say I think it's the highest we're going to see in a bit. Knock on wood. I'm praying this. And now keep in mind, I'm not no economic guy. I live off the life of hard knocks and seen it happen.
Yep.
I was in the banking world. I saw the rates go high. I've seen the rates go down. A good rate in 2011 was 7.5%. A good rate in 2024 was 7.5%. A good rate in 2022 was a 2.25%. So you're talking a 5-point difference. And of course, in 2010, 2011, 2009, we were in the recession.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to call it a recession this last 2 years. We've been in a recession.
Yeah.
From people that have been in the economic field and the banking field, we've been in a recession the last 2 years. We're on our way out of it. And the only way for them to stimulate this economy, and we've talked about it in multiple episodes, fastest way to stimulate the economy, real estate.
Yep.
Don't mess with the real estate rates because it'll freeze the economy or it will stimulate the economy. One of the two.
Yep.
Right now, it's been frozen for a year and a half. So 2024, that's why this episode's the year of redemption, was a tough year in the real estate world.
Yep.
It was a tough world in the investor field. You had your middle class and low class struggling. Yep. So $600 rent people, your $900 rent people, when they start getting impacted, and a lot of those are getting some type of assistance, when they're having a tough time and they're getting a good percentage of the rent paid for, that's when I know the economy's really smacked you in the face.
Yep.
I hadn't seen that in a long time, where that the lower class of the $600 to $900 a month rentals were getting really affected. We saw it all this last year. It was a tough year for property management companies, tough years for investors, tough year for tenants, tough year for everyone. It was 2025, everything looks positive. There's nothing but positivity in the market right now. Properties are moving. People are out shopping. I mean, it helps that we don't got any snow on the ground and it's January 8th. So
knock on wood, don't jinx
it. Yeah. That does help. But I mean, man, so those arms, they're actually probably a pretty decent thing to do right now, because you're going to refinance in this next year.
Okay.
So having that adjustable rate right now is not a big deal in my world. This is strictly my opinion, is because I think we've already seen the peaks of what rates could go.
Yep.
Now, if we get into a war, which, could happen, could affect rates.
Yep.
If they put some, it ain't happened, so I ain't even going to say, but if they put some restrictions against like drilling for oil and gas pricing and stuff like that, that energy efficiency that they're trying to fight for 2025, if that happens, if they open the floodgates again where we can start drilling and fracking and all that stuff, rates are going to go, they're going to plummet, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. I mean, we're 20 days away.
Oh man.
We're 20 days away. I cannot wait for January 25th through the 28th if we have an episode going on there, because inauguration's the 22nd, and he's going to have nothing but the whole first week of executive orders that he's pushing through. Those executive orders, you'll see the impact of those executive orders within the first week. I guarantee it.
I'm gonna do a callback. I'm gonna combine this moment from when it happens at our episode.
I'm telling you right now, you're gonna see gas prices go down. It's gonna be. It might take 2 months for that ripple effect we've talked about, but you're going to see some direct impacts that first week.
Damn.
Yeah, quote me on that right now. We'll drink to that one.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I'm putting myself out there.
Sounds like the country's redeeming itself. This might be a good segue to talk about redemption.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It is 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Another year, another big change coming up. It was one of those 4-year terms that's ending. How do you feel about the redemption of America?
It's overdue. It's overdue. It's such a mental state of mind in our world, Tone, because we deal with people of every nationality, every race, every sculpture of this world you and I deal with. And we've seen nothing but entitlement over the last couple of years. We've seen nothing but where everyone feels we owe them something.
Oh, yeah.
And we've never seen, accountability really be held.
Yep.
because no one from the top down in our government to our state to anyone was really taking accountability over something that was happening, because everyone's been pointing fingers at each other.
Yep.
Now we got facts, proofs, everything's coming, laying right out in front of us. You've had a full year to understand what was going on in this market. What adaptations have you made? Have you been pivoting?
Yep.
I'm cleaning house. Like, I am literally, my circle is going from here to here. And I am going to be completely 100% focused on positivity, because we've dealt with so much negativity this last year and a half. And
it sucks because it's almost become the norm. Like the level of, again, just that entitlement and arrogance and the lack of respect for your peers, who's also going through not only most of the same struggles, but their own personal struggles alongside of what you're bringing to them at this moment. So, I mean, that goes from client to, client to broker, or, the agency between you and a relationship, or coworkers, or, even people that you contract in to do business with. And it's like, yes, we all should definitely have a level of professionalism, but the underlying rule that should be there is respect. Respect that I have my own things I'm going through. Respect that you blowing up on me, affects me in a way where I've got to keep a certain face, or you letting me down, or you not showing up when you're supposed to. And, I've rearranged my schedule, and I've accounted for you multiple times. And I have other clients that are like, why are you still working with this person? So I get the closing your circle this year, the year of redemption. It's not about them redeeming themselves. It's my redemption for myself, my company, and redemption for the things that I allowed previous years that it's done.
It just can't happen. I mean, we're running businesses. We've been in it a long time. That's why Monica is my better half. Is not that she's just gorgeous, but she's also, she levels me out. Like she's like, okay, I'm a very optimistic person.
Yep.
Oh, we know.
She's a very pessimistic person.
We know.
So it's one of those that my circle had to get smaller, because I couldn't invite happiness into the circle I had, just because I was happy with helping a lot of people, and I'm always going to be happy helping a lot of people. But when the people don't want help and I keep trying to help, and they're just taking advantage of a situation, and she's kind of opened my eyes on a lot of that.
And we're the type of guys that'll sacrifice our happiness because of the greater good. And it's like, when you have a good significant other, they're going to tell you, stop doing that shit. Like, this isn't even about you making me happy. It's, I'm seeing this not make you happy.
Right.
We're done doing that. And them putting their foot down for you when it's like, yeah, that's just how that person is. Or, yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get this done. Yeah, at the end of the day, that might happen. This should not be the way we have to get to the end of the day.
Right.
Like, not every day.
Not every day. Golly. But, it's in the real estate world, it's so crucial who you pick to who you work with, and and you can't listen to the naysayers out there. Like, I thank God for all the naysayers. They're my motivation.
Yep.
But you don't know how many times on a monthly basis that I'll hear from one of my clients or another one of the clients, I was told this, Lucas, and, I'm questioning what we're doing over here. I'm like, okay, how long has this person been in the market? Do they know what's going on? I don't care. I don't need your business. Go chase something else, and I'll see you in 6 months.
Yep.
And and we've talked about that on previous episodes. We hear about it all the time, because right now it's just brutal out there. I had to talk to a realtor 2 days ago. I sat in my driveway, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, it's been a long day. Got my ass kicked by this, that, and other. No closings are happening on time, so I got to explain, and I'm still fighting with that today on why closings aren't happening on time, and this and that and another. And this agent, the whole time, from the time we presented an offer up into, so we're 45 days into it, we're supposed to close tomorrow, and was supposed to close on Wednesday, and here we or 2 days ago, and now here we are on Wednesday. So it is one of those things that the lender called me, the closer called me, and my buyer called me, because she inserted us all in an email throughout this whole process. So the seller agent is literally doing nothing but throwing daggers at me or the buyer.
In the email?
In the email.
To everybody?
To everybody.
Oh.
And it's like she's got a point to prove. And I finally had enough of it on Monday. And I go, I'm not mentioning any names, Skogman agent. And it was, and I'm like, why is everything a fight? I go, we have one goal. Our buyers want to buy your seller's property. Yeah. You want to get to a closing table. The closers want to get to a closing table. The lender wants us out of his hair because we're calling him every day.
Yeah.
No one is trying to purposely, put a delay or miss a deadline because we've done extensions before it. And every time we went to send an extension or just to give her an update, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, well, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
But
we'll figure it out.
2 minutes later, here comes an email. Your lender didn't do this, or your realtor should have informed you to get utilities in your name. We did do that. Mm-hmm. And so finally my buyer had enough and responded to the email. Yeah, my realtor's done this, and this, and also told me about this, and this. Yep. We've chosen personally not to put the utilities in our name yet because we haven't got it clear to close yet.
Yep.
We don't have a set closing date yet. Yep. We were told it was supposed to close this day. It's got moved back because of holidays for this day. Then we were told it was going to close this day. Your deed packet on the seller side hasn't came through because your title opinion hasn't been done yet. So that's your fault, Mrs. Realtor on the other side that wants to throw daggers.
Yep.
But they all called me that day and they're like, what is wrong with her?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Might be something in her personal life.
Yeah. So I texted her that night and it started the conversation. Then I called and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. We're all in the same field.
Yeah.
And she kept saying to me, well, if you would know the selling process. I'm like, man, I've been doing this 14 years. Right. And then she busted out I did 12 million last year and sold 35 properties. I'm like, great. That's my worst year I've ever had. and she's like, oh. I'm like, I'm 14 years into this. It's one
amateur.
I'm like, all I'm doing is trying to keep peace, and I'm letting you bitch, and you're pissed because I won't fight with you.
Yeah. So you keep trying to pick a fight.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's good.
I've dealt with relationships like that. Like when you just don't have the energy to fight every battle. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like, hey, all right, sure, you're right. Hey, we're going to figure that out. Well, I need to know how you're going to figure it out right now. We're going to figure it out is the point. Yep. Right now, what my grand scheme and plan is, doesn't matter, but it will get figured out. Let's resolve it. We don't have to insult each other. We don't have to keep going back and forth. We don't have to throw anybody under the bus. Hey, here are the things we still need to get done. It's so easy to just say that and just write the list out, and then we're all like, cool, especially if you're emailing everybody. Like, if you're emailing everybody, it's like, hey, here's the things that are left. And, if I need a date on this, or here's the date next to it, it needs to be done by.
Yep.
There's so many ways, and it's crazy. Like, you don't have to throw shade to just state the facts and what needs to be done.
Oh, what cracked me up is, you didn't respond to this last email. Like, hey, it was 2 hours ago, and you did nothing but throw shade. What do you want me to say? Hey, quit being an ass.
Now.
Quit being an ass. That's all I had to say.
You want me to fight with you?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going down that alley. Especially when you got buyers, sellers, a lender, and a closer all on the same email. I'm like, grow up.
Yeah. And I mean, even with my clients, like, a lot of the times, I don't have issues with them. Like, hey, you didn't do this or that, but I'm ready for that. It's like, hey, we work together. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily work for you. You don't work for me. Like, we work together. So I can get this done. And sometimes I could need a reminder, or sometimes it's, hey, I still need this from you. But I'm so understanding of you have life going on. And for some reason, like, I get a lot of respect from the people that I work with where they just know I'm doing 8 billion things. Like, everybody that calls me starts the conversation. Sorry, I know you're busy. Right. I'm like, I do appreciate that, but hey, I answered. I'm here. What's up? So.
Well, and we had a closing the week before, and the closing was absolutely awful. We thought the lender was actually going to beat the heck out of the seller, and I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. It was ridiculous. It was hilarious, but ridiculous. Oh, man. But the process was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a shout out. Wendy Manning was the realtor on the other side, and she works with Pinnacle Realty, and she was a rock star through the whole process, and she had a baby right before closing, so she had Cherokee step in and close for her. Nice. But the whole process was awesome because she understood how busy I was, and she asked how she could help.
Nice.
And so her and I teamed up together, and it turned out to be a heck of a process because one thing this is getting to real estate here that a lot of people don't understand is we're also private investigators.
What?
We are. We're private investigators, and this happens multiple times. And this is where my banking background comes into hand, is because when we ran into a hiccup right in, it was beginning of December. Mm-hmm. This thing's supposed to close like December 23rd, something like that. Yep. And so we find out that there's a foreclosure that happened in 2015. So keep in mind, this guy bought this house in 2021, flipped it, or 2023, flipped it in 2024. And we have to deal with two owners prior to him because of the title opinion came back. The title opinion came back, said this guy had a lien still against the property from child support.
Oh, man.
So we had to track down where this guy was in 2015. He's locked up somewhere. And then we had to figure out who the kid was, because the kid was born in 2004. So we had to track the baby back to 2004 with the birth date. Then we had to find out who the mother was. Uh-huh. And couldn't find the mom anywhere. And found out she was going to be in Council Bluffs, and found out over here, and then found out she was over here. So we couldn't close until we had a signature from her stating that he didn't owe any child support.
Wow.
From 2004.
Okay, and don't lose this, but now I need you to elaborate. So if you owe child support, the parent of the child, the guardian of the child, could put a lien on a property you own?
The state does.
The state can.
So the state, as soon as, so let's just say you have a baby mama. So I'll use my prime example. So me going forward for the rest of my life, or for the rest, for a period of time. Anytime I want to sell a property, anything, I might need to get a satisfaction signed from my ex-wife. And that satisfaction states that I don't owe anything on child support or anything like that. Wow. And that's because the state files a lien against you that says you need to pay this on a monthly basis. Happens a lot in our real estate transactions. This is the side of the scenes that people don't see
at all. And this is why this podcast is important.
Yeah,
what?
People don't see this, is that we have to go clear. So in the state of Iowa, we're one of the few states, we are the only state actually, that you have to have a clear title in order to sell a property. So all liens need to be cleared, and that includes judgments, that includes child supports, that includes anything that maybe your ex-wife has, court fees against you or something like that. Anything that could be filed by the government, or a lien of any sort that could be approved through the courts, can stick to your house. So this once again, we had to go back to 2004, figured out when this baby was born. Mm-hmm. Then we find out in 2005 that he found out the baby wasn't him, and he still had a child support against him. Wasn't his kid. But because he signed the birth certificate, his name was on it. So you want to get into, what is that, the Diddy song,
I don't know if you want to quote Diddy on this podcast.
Yeah. What is that, the Gold Digger song, when they found out the 18th birthday of Kanye West.
Yes.
Yeah, Kanye. We found out the child wasn't his. Yeah. But anyways, so this is, he found out a year later. So in 2005, found out, but there still was a lien that was placed out there. We had to go track it all down. So we ended up finding the mom who lived here in Marion. Yeah. She went from Council Bluffs back here, and it popped up as a reminder.
You would still need her signature because he signed the birth certificate, even if they already disputed it.
Everything's been solved. Everything, it was
legally.
So crazy. But the whole process, Wendy and I are communicating through this whole process. We kept it cool, like, this is how it's going to go. Yeah. Manika did a bunch of research in the background. Thank God. I did the talking and try to figure out who's who, and then the lender did a little bit of help on this too, and got walked out of the federal building for threatening to blow it up. The same guy that wanted to. Yeah. Oh Lord, man. The stuff we see is just ridiculous. But anyways, so there's a private investigators,
and that makes me think, like, all right, let's say I'm Joe Smo trying to buy a house, and I'm telling you, oh man, don't worry about that child support thing. We found out the baby ain't mine. No, I have to.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know where the baby mom is. Okay, we are this far
we need
in the process. We got to figure it out, and that's what makes you so good.
Yep.
Is you don't just, hey, I need you to figure it out. Hey, did you reach her? You're doing the research. Mm-hmm. You're searching. You're finding location. You're making connections. Who knows who can go where? Like,
well, 9 out of 10 deals is dead as soon as that comes up. It's dead.
Damn.
Because that realtor does not have the background. See, I used to look at title opinions as a banker. And so I used to have to be able to read them and identify liens and figure out where these liens were. I was a closer at one time. So When that popped across and the lender's like, oh, screwed, we're screwed here. I'm like, no, I got this. Just get everything, get me the name, get me the court case, and I'll figure it out from here.
Okay.
And,
yeah, because all court cases are public records.
Yep. So that's where we started, and then we had to dig deeper and get into public records and we had to get deep on this. And, you know, and that's another thing of where my niche is, and you ask what my niche is, and where I get redemptions on a lot of my people is I'm like, okay, you go to that person, oh, you didn't close, I'm sorry, why? My close rate's excellent. Like it might not close on time when there's hiccups that happen like that. Like this got extended in only like 5 days. So
that's crazy.
But we know how to navigate through the process and know what we're looking for.
We don't quit. Always be pivoting. ABP.
Yes. So here's the kicker to it is we get to the closing tables, checks are in hand, closing's done. Closings are done, and this is where it's funny. Monika's like, "You want me to put closed on the MLS on our way to things, so it shows that it's closed?" I'm like, "Hell no, not until the check cashes. Do not put because we get our checks in the hand. So commission checks are in hand, payoff checks are in hands. Everything's pretty much signed.
Yep.
The lady mentioned she's
the lady the buyer mentioned, and I can't remember what brought the topic up, that she was still married. She's been separated, legally separated, but she's still married. So therefore,
you need that husband's signature.
So the closer looked at us and said, "We need all checks back. This ain't closing today."
Oh,
the lender walked in, and the letter, excuse my language, the lender walked in and said, "The fuck, we aren't closing today. Let me have the documents. We just need 3." And the buyer's like, "Not a big deal. I can call my ex up." So the ex had to get called and come in and sign 3 documents for this to close.
She goes, "He's not on the paper." He goes, "I don't give a fuck."
I was like, oh Lord.
God.
One of the most interesting closings I've ever had.
Damn. So luckily they're on good terms.
Luckily, because I know my situation. If I would have said, "You need to be here in 10 minutes to sign this,"
I ain't signing.
She ain't answering.
Yeah. I mean,
Monika gonna answer that call.
Oh man. So I mean, it was. But again, both realtors, me and the other realtor, so even the gal she had stepped in, we've done a lot of deals together, Cherokee, and we sat there and looked at each other and we're like, oh my God. And as soon as the gal gave the checks out and she said, "Okay, now you guys are free to go," I'm like, "Don't say another word." And we grabbed our checks and ran out of that room.
Yeah, that's it.
And I got to the bank line and I got a text from the other realtor and she's like, "Don't cash that check yet. They're thinking about pulling it again." And I'm like, "Already done. Check's cashed." I'm out.
You're in line. Checks cash. I've arrived at the bank. It's checks cash.
Yes, this sounds like it's going to be a buyer problem on this. And you guys better figure it out because my seller's got his check. I got my check. Because I didn't represent the buyers. So.
Well, what's the ramifications of they said they got divorced and in reality they didn't file or they missed a document or something?
Well, according to the lady, it was as if nobody ever knew she was still married.
Yeah.
So
what if it wasn't brought up right at the end? What
oh my God! You don't think there wasn't crickets in the room saying, just say you're divorced? Yeah. I mean, because it didn't come up on a lien, it didn't come up on anything. I mean, I was like, oh Lord, and I could see the lender's eyes look at it. "You're not married, right?" And I'm like, yeah.
Oh man.
Because I think she had to copy her license, and I think her license had a different name from what she was signing. Because she was trying to sign her original name, but I think her license still had her married name. And so she asked her, she goes, "Are you married?" And so she goes, "Well, we're separated." She goes, "But are you legally married?"
Oh.
She goes, "Well, legally, yeah." She goes, "Oh, I need all checks." That's like, oh, fuck.
So is this like a fiduciary duty thing, or is this more of a is it straight legal? Like, what happens if she never makes that comment and everything is cashed and she moves into the house? Like,
it could turn into a lien. Like, we had to go research.
Okay.
So like how that, I mean, it depends on, it could go a couple different ways. I mean, if it's caught, yeah, it could be put as a judgment. It could be put as a lien. It could be, I mean, and it could be null and void. I mean, it depends how it's handled.
So liens are handed out by the bank, the state, like legal, like
legal. Usually a lien is something that's gone through the legal process where they can place a judgment against you.
Okay.
Or yeah.
So child support. I bought this house without my husband's signature.
Yep.
What are some other things?
So child support, yeah. So it takes 1 to buy, 2 to sell. So you could go buy, but if your ex may need to sign off if you're still legally together.
Okay.
So 1 to buy, 2 to sell. You got child support. You got any past due bills that might have gone into a judgment that they could place a collection lien against you. Those can't really legally attach to a property. They try to. They try to attach them to a property. We've had to get them removed. Court fees are pretty common. So like there was a foreclosure on this, and there was 4 other liens against it. One was a Capital One. One was someone that I'm trying to think. Mad City Bats put a lien against them for.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Someone didn't play
I'm
their.
thinking like I think I used Capital One for like my GameStop card or something like that.
Yeah, it could be a variety of stuff. I mean, those big businesses own a lot of different links.
Okay,
like
but,
Wells
like,
Fargo owns Victoria's Secrets and this, that,
Please
and
tell
another.
me there's a certain amount.
It's the amount of what you're owed is what it is, because you might need, most of the time you can get a settlement and they'll settle and they'll just take the if there's enough proceeds, they'll take it out of the proceeds. So like my seller had to pay for this foreclosure that had nothing to do with him, and had to pay. They kept $6,000 in escrow to pay these other 3 judgments that were out there. Because he had enough coming to him in proceeds, so they just took the $6,000 out of his proceeds in order to pay off these judgments. Otherwise, it couldn't have closed either.
And
So
it was
you want
of
to talk
the
about headaches? There was so many.
owners.
Yep.
Oh my.
Because whoever filed the foreclosure didn't throw the debts into the foreclosure.
Right.
Normally, all that debts get cleared in the foreclosure.
And he just gave a face like you don't even know the half of what we deal with.
Yeah. So this is the behind the scenes of what your realtor does, and why do you need a realtor?
Why do you need a good realtor?
Yeah, because they need to know how to navigate. Like you can have
man.
the biggest dip as a realtor, but if their close rate's like 90%, go with that realtor, because he knows what he's doing or she's doing and can navigate through the process. And okay, if he doesn't got the best communication on it, okay, that's fine. But are you working your way to a closing table?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, our job is to communicate, but there is so much that's going on behind the scenes. So I tell my people, you don't hear from me, that's good.
Yeah.
It's moving smoothly. I'll call you when I need you.
Yep.
I'll make sure we're set up for inspections. I'll make sure our home warranties are in place. I'll make sure this is going right. But if you don't hear from me, we're in good standings.
Yep.
But you got to educate that right out of the gate.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're known as a poor communicator, and I hate when that comes. I'm like, oh, bullshit. You didn't ask the right question.
All right.
Because I'm working my ass off to make sure
Exactly.
this gets where it is. But not am I only working your deal. I'm working 20 others.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean God, this month's been stressful just because of nothing's closing on time because of hiccups. It seems like you run into hiccups everything we're running into. So, getting into another hiccup of real estate, we had a closing that was set for yesterday. December 5th, the gal went out December 5th, and she bought a new vehicle.
Oh,
It took 30 days to report.
I rewatched season 1 and we talked about those things. Like
Yeah.
I do all this stuff to get your credit right.
yeah.
And then, hey, look at my new car. Hold on real quick.
Making this fat cash, but not understanding what we got to do to get this thing to a closing table, and understanding that and you know what, the first 12 years of this, we maybe had like 5-6 cancellations. So it was almost, your close rate per year was almost like 100%. Now, if you can keep a deal to closing right now, it's a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Realtors are earning their dang money this last 2 years, and it's all off the environment.
Yep.
But hopefully, once again, the year of redemption is what this is, where everything, interest rates, whatever not, can make us swing to it and hopefully change everything to a positive. Because I'm a positive person. I mean, what's your main you want to change from 2024 to the 2025?
I actually started on it already. There's a few people that, because I always feel like I'm like the friendliest guy ever. I'll give you my shirt off my back. Like I help and work with everybody. There was about, and out of the hundreds of people I deal with, there was 3 that I absolutely, I want to say hate it, but I still, that's strong on me. So I really couldn't stand them. Either something happened this past year or over the past like 5 years that just got them to a point that I can't stand this person. I don't ever want to see that person again. My redemption is, one of my quotes is that I love is, he who angers you controls you. I don't want to give anybody that control anymore. So my redemption is me mending relationships that I may not have even tarnished to begin with.
Right.
I think having the power in that is empowering. Like, it just being able to reach out like, hey, things didn't go the way that we thought it would, or hey, I may not have liked how you did this, but I don't want to hate you anymore. I don't want to, and to me, I don't want to give you any power over me. I don't want to, for example, like a venue, I don't want to drive by this venue and feel a type of way every single time I drive by. I don't want to take a separate route. I don't want to not go to this barber shop because this guy works there. Like, I don't like having or harboring any negative energy whatsoever. And even though I felt like, it's only 3 people, most people have a ton of people they don't like. I literally only had 3 in the last 5 years. And one of those relationships I already mended before the year ended. Another relationship isn't one where we're like going to even be able to communicate. But my redemption is I'm going to be over it.
Right.
Like right now I'm at a point where if I see this specific person, something may happen. I want to get to a point where I don't even think that, and that's not even in the realm of possibility, where I can be cool, I can walk past, I don't have to interact. Like, that's a huge step for me with that one individual. And then there's just a few other people that I just need a better relationship and a better understanding of. My youngest daughter is moving back the end of this month, which has been a real struggle for me with her mom moving to North Dakota and all type of crazy stuff I thought I'd never deal with. But I'm starting to understand she does have a different type of sense of humor, and it usually pisses me off when she makes her jokes or jabs, but I have to understand who she is as a person and what, makes her that way in life. And I think even doing this podcast, like Monika's one that's like, we're not playing that. But with certain people, it's like the benefits of me not giving them the power to piss me off, I can move forward. I can have a better relationship with my daughter by not letting her mom get under my skin. And before I was just, I'm not dealing with any of this. Now I feel like this is my redemption period of letting go and letting people deal with their demons their way, but keeping my situation separate from that.
So you kind of control your controllables is your goal this year.
Absolutely.
Control your controllables.
And I feel like I've always been really good about that. It's just been the few individuals that push me to a point where I've cut them off completely.
Yeah, but okay, so I'm going to play devil advocate on this because I feel like I'm good at controlling my controllables too, and I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because I cave too easy.
Yeah.
And you cave too easy. So
I compromise.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not.
But that's probably the definition of caving.
Yeah, the compromise itself puts us in a situation that makes it better immediately, but not long term.
Facts.
And that's when we're not controlling our controllables. That's my goal this year, is to look at the situation from a far distance and be like, okay, what's the total outcome of it going to be this instead of the immediate impact? And I've always been a big picture guy.
Yep.
Where I know, but I'm also a healer. I'm one of those guys that feels that can make can heal a situation.
I can fix you.
And I'm over it. I mean, trends don't lie.
Yep.
And I mean, if you got a realtor that's out there that's done 2 million, 3 million, 2 million, 4 million, 5 million, 3 million, 2 million, 5 million.
Yeah.
He's a $3 million realtor. That's not a very good realtor.
Yep.
It's an average or below average. Now, if you got a realtor like myself or, some of the guests we've had on there where they're 15 million, 20 million, 18 million, 13 million, 18 million. Oh, that's a great realtor. And his trends are showing that he's a great realtor.
Yeah. And I know these aren't just you're selling $5 million houses every time.
Oh God, no!
You're selling the 100,000, 200,000. You're building up to this. This is a record of consistency. Not I'm just selling 3 big houses a year.
Yep. Well, just do the math. So last year I did 100 transactions for roughly about 16 million. So my average sale rate was like $160,000 a house.
Yep.
So
that's putting in work though.
That's a grind.
Yep.
I mean, that's not counting the $30,000 houses we put out there and the 50,000. And like you said, we hit all areas.
Yep.
So my redemption this year is leaving the past in the past. So and that includes people.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to open my circle. Like I said, I want to shrink it down.
Yep.
I got 20 more pounds to lose. So my personal thing is I want to get my goal
20 pounds of people or 20 pounds of
yeah, weight wise. I mean, my goal, my original goal was to get down. So I started at 329. We're down to about 275 right now. So we're we're almost 45, whatever this. So we're about 40. My goal is 260-ish.
Nice.
So
nice.
if I can get back there, then I feel more healthy, and that's my other goal this year is there was so much unhealthiness in 2024 from my heart because of my heart got broke in 2024 and 2023. So it was one of those, wasn't like unhealthy heart problems. It was the stress I put on myself. And it was because of some of the stuff I had to let go. And I mean, I gained a huge asset the last 2 years, and probably the asset that's probably going to last me the rest of my life in Monica.
Hey.
And it's been a healing process that she's helped with. So, I mean, there's been a lot to that. In 2025, I absolutely want to blow this real estate market out of this water. Like, I want to leave no question who the best realtor is in this area.
Okay.
So, like, this is going to be the first year that I'm going to take that approach where I'm not going to get greedy, but I'm going to get hungry.
Yeah, I love it.
And
I love it.
my hunger is from the spite that came in 2024 because 2024 sucked.
Yeah.
I got so much pent up energy. I'm like that. I feel right now like I'm that dog that is like on that chain right now that is just keeps getting pulled back tighter and tighter and tighter. And I'm cutting that chain this year. I'm just going to run. I mean, I'm going to do what I used to do.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm going to build, I'm rebuilding. It's a rebuilding year. So I'm going to rebuild the empire. And that's my goal this year. And I got a partner at the side to rebuild something. And I've never built something with someone.
Yeah.
So I've always built it for someone.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting that I get to build something with someone. So that's kind of what my redemption of 2004 into this year. And
Your redemption.
Monica, what you got?
I don't know.
What are you changing from 2024 to 2025?
I've been nice for 8 days.
Yeah. That is a world record, y'all. I'm going to call Guinness right now.
Yeah.
I have not snapped on anyone. I had my first meeting where I didn't yell at people.
Okay.
And curse.
Okay.
And pretty much belittle them and let them know that they were stupid.
Okay. I'm proud of you.
Growth.
Yes. Yeah. Cheers to that. Hold on. So how many days, like, are we going to put a sign on the wall, like days without incident, days without Monica snapping?
She don't know it, but there's like a level outside. There's like a chart, pie chart outside my office that has a little arrow on it. This is where Monica's at today. This is where she's at.
That's like right before they walk in.
Yeah, you like, gotta read the temperature. Here's Monica's temperature right here.
It's not. That's not funny. We came back to work on the 2nd. And everyone knows. So my birthday's on the 1st.
Happy birthday. Happy belated.
Thanks. Lost my sister on the 2nd. Went into work, and I'm just like, all right, I already tired. I really don't have time for this. Yeah. And then went to the back. In the back, and there's this customer up front just literally losing his shit.
Oh, man.
And so normally when there's a customer or someone up there losing their shit, the first person they look for is me.
Yeah.
And so I tell them,
we got something for that.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it is.
I'm going to match your energy. Hang on. Let me get the dog out.
That's pretty much how they are. They're like, oh, shit, you want to yell at me? Let me go get someone for you.
I'd be the receptionist. I'll go, Hey, Monica, can you get up here? No, keep going.
She doesn't. She'll call me. She'll be so terrified because she's so sweet.
Yeah.
And they'll come up there trying to bully her and mess with her. And she goes, okay. She goes, just she'll come knock on the door. She goes, I don't want to bother you. Can you please come up front? And I'm like, what's up? And she goes, just come up front. I need your help.
You'll know what to do when you get there.
And I'm like, oh,
you remember Mackenzie from Jane Boyd?
Yeah.
It's Mackenzie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so the 2nd, I handled it very well. I was proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, I did not yell at this man. I did not do anything. But I was very blunt. I'm like, I said, when you're talking, you need to give respect. Because if you're going to be yelling, you're going to be at this tone, I'm not going to listen to you. And I'm going to actually tell you that you need to leave the building. Yeah. So I'm trying to help you. And if you want my help, let's bring it down. Because we're not going to do this. Yep. And so it went very far, which kind of made me mad because it wound up being there for like 30 minutes. And it's like, dude, there's not much more I can say.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I handled it very well. And then Cody called. He goes, thanks for handling it. She goes, they first called and said, oh, Monica. He goes, the one person I can trust that I can handle an aggressive tenant is Monica. But when he's like, oh, you handle it completely different. I'm like, I'm working on it. Aww. I'm like, I am at the point where I used to be very snappy.
Still is.
You are different.
Don't snap on him. You gotta prove him right.
Hey, put that camera on me. She still is.
So I used to start my day, like my day would start so good. And then I'll get into the office and people just like, I don't like repeating myself. And I don't like going over something that I know that I have went over with you several times.
Yeah.
So at this point, now I think you're fucking with me.
Like, you gotta be fucking with me.
You have to be.
Do you do it where you repeat it and say it the exact same thing but a different way?
I'll do it multiple times. So if you come to me, no, seriously. So if you come and ask me a question, I'm gonna explain it to you the way that it's the way it is.
Yeah.
And then if you come back and then you ask again, I'm gonna explain it exactly how I explained it.
Yeah.
So then when you pop back up, now in my mind, I got to figure out a different way to explain it to you because you're not understanding it.
Yeah.
So then that's when I get told that I'm talking to people like they're a child because then
she does. She makes you feel like that second or third time, like, should I add supervision when I walked in here? Because I don't know how I've wiped my own ass for the last couple of years. After I talked to Monica, like, I really am a degenerate right now.
I break it down, like
step
little step by step. And then they get told that I'm talking to them like they're a child.
But I already talked to you like an adult twice and you didn't get it. So.
And then you come back again. Now you're fucking with me.
Yeah.
You're playing.
Yeah.
And so then that's the part that no one ever sees because of the simple fact. You see when I'm blowing up.
Yeah.
Because I've already went through this with you. And then you do it again. And it's not even that, it's that it can happen multiple times that day. And then boom, the next day. And then the next week. At this point, honey, you need to write it down and put it right there on your screen because I can't keep doing this with you and taking time out of my day.
So this is behind the scenes right here that you guys are seeing of the property management side. When we're busy and we're like, hey, you know what, we're in a meeting. Usually this is the meeting we're in. We have 1,500 tenants living in 500. I mean, you got to figure an average 2 to 3 people per unit is usually what it is. So that puts at 500 units. Just use that as a rough number, and times 2 is 1,000 people. So if you add a third into that, so we probably do have 1,200 tenants. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of people because we do have families of 6, and then we have families of 2, and then we have a lot of. Finding families of 1 is almost impossible because usually that's the liar. Because they're like, you pop up on them. Like, you know what? There's very few people that live alone. Even when they do, a lot of your older folk that come in, they're like, okay, I just live alone. No, it's just me. Okay, we'll show up and there's grandbabies all over and so on and so forth.
She don't know her son living with her for the third time. But he ain't left for 3 months.
Well, but if you ask the son, no, I don't live here.
I don't get no mail here.
Hey, this ain't my spot. Were you here every time? Every time I've been here, you've answered the door for your mom. So if you don't live here...
If you talking about who is it, this your place.
If I see you have a set of your Nike shoes right there, but you're wearing your house shoes...
So Grandma got a Jordan collection.
Yeah, you live here, you're in your house shoes. You didn't pack those house shoes when you left your house. Those house shoes are in your house.
Yeah, that's how they call out.
Yes. So this is so you're seeing the behind the scenes of the stuff that we have to deal with and what your money pays for us for dealing with us. But you also you got a lot to look forward to because you have 2 active people right here. So if you're looking for the property management side and the real estate side, you got the right fit here. But I'm telling you, man, it's been a tough 2024.
What's the email or ticketing system, the maintenance? What's the system like? What's the good or bad? Monique said, put the camera on me.
Well, he doesn't know the system.
I know the system, but it's not Monica's system.
It's not that it's not a Monica system. The system
It don't work for Monica.
It works fine.
If it's followed to a T.
If it's followed correctly,
okay.
And if it's done correctly, it works fine. But you, of course, like I've had before my year ended, I did snap. I'm saying.
She said 1 more for 24.
I worked in the one so crazy. I told my sister, I said, I'm going to try to be nice the rest of this year, all year. And so she goes,
2 minutes
she looked
later.
at me, she goes,
No, it was like 9 o'clock on December 31st.
yeah. She was like, the year's almost over. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, at least I made that one. I'm nice for the rest of this year.
I tried.
But we have a tenant comes in. So there's, you can put in all your requests. So if you have something that takes place, you have an app that you can go in, you put in all your requests. Mm-hmm. In that app, you can see what maintenance person is assigned to it. You can contact that maintenance person from there. You can put your comments, you can upload, let's say if you don't really know what's going on or you are trying to describe something, it allows you to upload the photos to that app. Nice. So you can actually show them what the issue is, and it allows you to add videos. Okay. You get to the problem where you just have tenants that just does not want to do anything for themselves. And so I had one guy come in.
Wait, is there an option you could just respond to the ticket? Like you could just be like, hey, all you need to do is blah, blah, blah.
Once you put the ticket in, I had one that told me that they didn't know how to put it in. I was like, weird, you just put in one 10 minutes ago, so why can't you put in this one? Yeah. Oh, did I?
Yeah, Manika does not take. It doesn't matter if you're 92 or if you're 17.
It does.
She assumes everyone is computer literate and that you should be able to handle this because you're a grown adult.
I will put in a ticket for an old person because most old people, because most old people have flip phones.
Yeah. But the kicker of it is
still hang up on you like
so it's still damage control. It's damage control. Like I've had to walk into, and this is where the
promise people something, and it's like I get that so much. Lucas told me, baby, okay, that's great, but Lucas is not here.
He's not here right now.
What you need to do is go on this app and put in this request. Like one guy was like, I think I talked to you on Saturday. I said, well, honey, we're closed on Saturday, so if you came to talk to me on a Saturday when I was leaving this building, 9 times out of 10, I didn't listen to a word you said. And he's like, and I think that's what you told me. I said, I probably did.
That sounds like me.
We are closed.
That was me. That definitely was me. If I told you.
We are closed.
And that's where I step in as the owner. I'm like, girl, just put in the property note for him. No. It literally takes 3 minutes to put in not even, probably 30 seconds to put a property note. I'm like, just fill it out and let's get this thing moving forward.
You habit of doing that, and then they call every single, like Kenzie's getting blown up of people to put in their mails because now Lucas like, oh, yeah, we'll do it. Now they feel like, oh, I don't have to do it. I'll just call.
See, I give them the disclosure they need to put in a property note.
So
but if they call back the second and third time, I still have to make sure this job's getting done.
I am very nice. I go grab that piece of paper.
Who told you that?
I go grab that piece of paper and I hand it to you and I tell you this is how you put in a property note. It goes over it step by step. Mm-hmm. And I hand it to him. And I had one person tell me, and it's not funny because I think I said it in my head, but it came out of my mouth. And he was like, what did he say? He goes, I can't. He goes, I can't put in the mail. I think he said he don't have a phone. I said, so are you telling me you have a landline? Because no one have landlines these days. He goes, no, I have a phone. I said, so you have a cell phone? He goes, yeah, I have a cell phone. I said, well, then you can put in a mail.
See,
like, what are you talking
and
about?
again,
Like,
I mean, this guy, I know exactly. I was there. I was standing there. The guy barely spoke English. Like, he probably understood the third word of what she was saying. And you know, it's one of those that, I mean, this is where we don't see eye to eye on this.
And we're circling back. Manika, what's your redemption for 2025?
I'm nice. I am nice. I am working on being nice. Right. And I am just working on not letting people irritate me. Like, for instance, now when they irritate me, I just, walk off and just leave you there because I'm practicing. If you don't have nothing nice to say.
Well, and it's been beautiful. Like, Manika in 2025 has also got a promotion to work from home.
You sent her home? We can't have you here no more.
You can't talk to the customers. You can't talk to the employees.
Anyone else is nice or so different.
Yeah. I'm like, great, girl, you're going home today, right? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, honey, you look tired. You got to go home.
That is not how that goes.
Mid-argument. Hey,
You
did you
have
get
to
some
stop. Bullshit. You have to stop. That is not how that goes.
Hey,
I love
congratulations.
every time Anita's like, I'm nice. I'm like, who told you that?
Yeah.
Who said that to you ever?
I told that.
So let's be
Yeah.
clear. There's a huge misconception of Monica. So Monica is one of those that has a heart of gold. She'll give back, and this is where me and her gel is. She's also a person that likes to give back to the community and give back to kids, and
Yep.
you just don't cross her. I mean, and it's very simple. Her knife is sharp.
Yep.
So it cuts quick.
Yep.
And it's my knife is dull, so I'll cut. Might never get through it, and we can my knife also.
Guys like
heals.
us think that we're invincible.
Yeah, well,
I've been cut
yeah.
a million times. I'm not going
Yeah, we
nowhere.
good. I got your back on this. And
But when we have to strike back, oh man, it's not pretty.
No, and we do it out of spite.
Yeah. And add a build up too.
Yeah,
Like,
but
it
that's one
takes-
quality about Monica that I absolutely love is I don't know if she's ever known what understood what spite is because it's all out there right away. Like
I don't think she holds a grudge like that. Like they know.
no.
There's no secret grudges.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Monica.
The
You
spite
know.
is not there. It is like I'm doing this because I don't like you. Yeah. There is no such thing as karma. This is you. You're not
Hey,
up
it's
to
me.
my
I'm
speed,
karma.
so I'm coming at you. So I mean, I would love to be able to live the life where I didn't have the. Spite is something that's built up. It's not something that you either have or you don't have. Spite is something. It's like when you pour water into a pot and you only set the temperature at 209 degrees. At 209 degrees, that water is not going to evaporate. It's not going to boil.
Yep.
And then when you get spite built up is when you slowly raise that temp to 211 degrees. What happens at 210 degrees? Nothing. What happens at 211 degrees? It boils.
Yep.
And that 1 degree makes that huge difference, and that 1 degree is called spite.
Yep.
And in my world, when that 1 degree hits, I'm like, all right, you hope. The dangerous thing you could ever give Tone and myself is time.
Yep.
You give us time, and I don't care if it's 6 hours of freedom or
Have time,
4
you
hours.
think y'all have time.
That's what I'm saying. It's dangerous if we get it.
Yep. Exactly.
My most productive times is when I go up to the Centerpoint office, which I haven't done in months. Like when I go up to the Centerpoint office, I'm the only one there. I flip up my laptop and I start pulling out my investor sheet and my Rolodex.
Yeah.
And I just start banging away. I guarantee I will leave that day and I'll have 6 deals under contract. I'll have my next 2 weeks full of appointments and I'm ready to go. But if I go to the office every day, the normal office every single day, it might take me a month and a half to build that up, where I could do it in 6 hours.
We might be moving this season back to Center Point.
Oh, Lord. It forced my hand to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, it did. So, I mean, it was one of those things that, you know.
Get some use out of there.
Great. Back to me. Always cut me off.
I like this format though. Like we did the today's market, we did the episode concept, and now we get like Monica mode.
You're just
this is
cut
your
off.
segment.
This
This
is
is your
not
segment.
my
This is your
segment.
time. No, because you were
just
quiet
always
most of the
cut me
episode, but I
off.
love. All right, this is your time, Monica.
But back to what I'm saying.
And in your time now, I gotta cut you off. All right, make sure you transition to our Christmas party, which we didn't even talk about. I just realized that when he talked about
it
your
was
heart of gold.
amazing.
But before we get into that, your year, Redemption,
I
2025.
am working on being nice. My goals is to continue to focus on building
Okay.
a property that I got in the middle of remodeling it, trying to get it to a duplex.
Okay.
And just adding on more properties. I want to get an LLC, different LLC, and just, become an investor. That's my goal, and to just, I don't know, be happy.
I like that. And I know giving back is a part of that.
Giving back is a part of that. I enjoyed it. I actually thought I wanted to do something for Valentine's Day, and I was like, I don't know.
All right, so I'm actually DJing a dope date night at this bar in, I think it's Davenport or Rock Island. So I'll get you guys an invite, but you guys deserve a night just out, just enjoy, out of town, out of reach, and just have fun. So I'll send you guys details for that, but we're doing like dinner, R&B music, dancing. It's a really small, intimate location. So I'll send you that, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, I'd like to be active during like almost every holiday, but
That's what I was thinking.
there's some that matter more. There's some that matter more, which are to a lot of families. And I know for sure Father's Day, I did one at the gym, a daddy-daughter dance. I want to do that again this year, just so fathers have that time with their daughters. We did a Mother's Day event a few years back at Shores Event Center, and we brought out the singers and we brought out caterers, and we just gave to all the moms and ran contests and stuff. So I want to do stuff like that. And I just, after the Christmas party, I really want to do more, because we filled that place up. Every seat was filled. We gave
over the numbers we thought.
We gave over 100 kids toys and had toys left, which is crazy, because I was like, man, I don't know if we're gonna have enough.
Oh, I made it.
We had.
I was like, oh, we're gonna.
I think we had just enough food. Did you guys leave with any food?
Well, very little.
I know we ran out of plates and silverware.
We had pizza. That was about it.
That was left pizza.
Yep.
Shout out to Casey's.
Yep. We gave away, even with giving away some, because I know one lady, a couple of people took boxes of pizzas home that was full, and we still wind up having, I think, 3 boxes.
Nice.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Casey donated 25 pizzas, and I think we had 20.
3 bags of ice.
20 gone. And then obviously we had Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Keeping Up with the Joneses.
They made some food.
Shout out to Tevin Jones.
Kind of upset I didn't get any, but you know.
It was fire.
Yeah,
had to be Mrs. Claus.
Yep. Then Monique and I made 2 turkeys and some
baked macaroni and cheese
and some
green bean
casseroles, and all that stuff was destroyed. Yeah, so I mean, there was a food wise, we ran out.
I'm happy the thing that we ran out of was like plates and silver. Like, it wasn't food or toys. Those were my biggest fears.
We ran out of it, but it came right there. Like,
yeah, and then we got it back.
I can say I enjoy, like, I love my little nephew to death, but I'm so happy now that he can drive. And I'm like, hey, let me get some plates for me?
Yep.
And he always seems to be, I ain't got no money. All right, I'll cash out you. Done. Yep. And I don't never want that to be, nope, go to that dollar store, Dollar Tree, wherever you buy, and grab these plates. And he did his acting like he didn't want to do it, but he popped up with it, and I was like, "Oh, great!" And then we kept it going. But
that's the other beauty of events like this. It's like, not only do we bring people together, but it does bring our family together. It does show you who you can lean on within the family. You had a lot of family there, didn't you?
Yep, my sister came, did volunteer work to help out. She, of course, we all brought our kiddos.
Yep.
We had Bree from the AMMT staff come through. Paige from the AMMT staff come through. Some are our little 1099 that helps out here and there. They came through and helped.
Simi came through.
Simi. Of course, Cody was there with his family.
Yep.
So it was
he was the elf.
Yeah, our little elf.
Yep. I got to be the Grinch for a little bit. Santa right here.
Yeah, Santa Claus. Mrs. Claus.
I brought my family, my
Terrified
mom.
a lot of kids.
Right. You scared my sister, which it's the best story. So, like, Naya, my daughter, went up to get something for herself, and my sister has bad anxiety. So she told Naya, she's like, "Oh, will you hand me that Coach purse?" And Naya grabbed a present and gave it to her, but then went up to grab her present. And I don't know if it was you or your sister, but you're like, "Oh, you got your present back in the line." And my sister was like, "Oh, that lady wasn't playing, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Yeah, she don't play that. You should have got it yourself. I don't care if you have anxiety." But she said she came up, and if she would have talked to me first and said, "I'm going to come up to her and apologize after," I would have told her, "Nope, don't piss her off. Like, we're working, we're busy." And she said she came up and apologized to you after, and she was like, she was just such the sweetest lady, and like, I didn't expect that, and I was scared to begin with, and then scared to come up and apologize. And she was like, you could just tell she's just the sweetest person ever. It was just a lot of people that we were dealing with, so that was super dope.
It was a great event.
It got a little frustrated because I think most people know that that's your daughter, and I was getting really annoyed that they're constantly sending her up, and it's like, no, like, so, and I'm like, are you getting the gift or are you getting the gift for someone else?
Yeah.
And so she was like, for someone else. I said, "Sweetheart, grab your gift."
Yep.
And go that way. Whoever wants a gift, tell them that they need to get up and do it themselves. You are not.
Mrs. Claus was kicking out walkers.
I swear.
You are not there.
Yeah, get out of here. You already been here.
I made my sister mad too because she kept guessing right in bingo, and I would just be like, "Anyone else with the answer?" She's like, "Serious?"
My goal and overall goal, our goal was I wanted to at least make sure every kid left with the gift.
And they did.
And
they did.
I love that, dude.
Yep.
And if you came back and you were one of those that had a small gift and we had more, I was perfectly fine. But overall, I didn't want, like, I had one kid that I looked, Like, he grabbed the shoes, and then he had, like, 5 tumblers.
I wasn't having
Boy,
it.
you don't even know what that is.
Yeah. He had whatever shoes that were there.
Mrs. Claus was dropping elbows as he was walking away. She got them all back.
I was like, no, give me that. I said, pick one.
Right.
And he goes, what? He goes, what do you mean? I said, one. Like, just one. Do you want the shoes or a tumbler? You can't just take all of them. Like, there's still
Why did you grab the shot glasses, boy?
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Claus had that cited for herself,
Oh my God! You need to stop. If there was any shot glasses there. I did very well because I told him. I said, "Listen here." I said, "Oh my God!" And then I got frustrated.
Well, I saw the frustrating times, and you still kept a smile, and we still had fun. So
it was a blast.
That's the best.
And shout out to the community for coming out too.
Shout out to Alicia Monet. Did y'all get to hear her sing? Lucas, you got there a little later.
I heard her. I walked in right as she was finishing.
That's so dope that we just. Who does that?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep.
Kind of mad that you played pentatonics at the end, but
Yeah, we wanted pentatonics the whole night. Man. Come on. You already know for next year.
All right, 2025, year of redemption.
Yeah, year of redemption.
Giving back. Smaller circles,
and just keep learning the real estate. The real estate market's going to continuously. It's going to be a quick turn this year, so it's going to change. It's going to go for the better. Keep your heads up, investors. Keep buying. It's going to be a great. This is probably going to be one of the hottest years that I think out of 15 years. It's going to be right up there in the top 3. So keep your heads up, everyone. Keep being informed, keep tuning in because there's going to be a lot of updates coming with the real estate market.
And make sure you tell your people when you're doing these smaller circles and we take our vacation. If they don't have no money, they can't come with us.
It is documented on the podcast. Thinking of money, if you want to sponsor an episode, if you want to sip some whiskey, if you want to talk real estate, this is the place to go. whiskeyandre.com will be live by the time this episode drops.
Oh, website
Let's
live.
Go, sponsor, be our guest.
Yep.
Come sip some of the good stuff to redemption, to 2025.